We're now joined by Emily Lytle, our Thompson Brooks Insurance Player of the Game. We were talking just before we came on the air, and I asked if you knew how many three-pointers you hit. You said somebody told you, and they told you that it tied the record. And
yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome, especially to do something like that on senior night. It's a blessing.
A record that had stood since 1999. That's in my brain, I feel like that shouldn't have been that long ago. But that's been 22 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
When were you born?
97.
So you were 2 years old when that record stood, and it's been there ever since. That's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Pretty cool. Not an easy couple of wins against Stetson. They're a pesky team, and they came out and showed a lot of three-quarter court pressure today, and I know that's the one thing that you guys are probably going to talk about when you look at film. It was the number of turnovers. Somewhat surprising considering it was day two and they really only had 7 rotating in, and they were expending a lot of energy because of that pressure, but it certainly worked.
Yeah, it definitely worked. They definitely got us a few times on the full court press, but I think most of our turnovers were unforced, like traveling. I know myself, I had like 4 travels maybe. Those were my turnovers, so I think just kind of fixing that and working on the details.
I just looked. I shouldn't have looked. Yeah. Not more turnovers than I'm sure everybody had more turnovers. I had 3 turnovers in the game. I don't even know if you knew
gosh.
that. Yeah, I fumbled the ball twice. I dropped my headset. I mean, it was an ugly day. But that seems to be the case a lot of times on Sundays because, especially in a close game, so much effort and energy was put into yesterday for them making the run to tie the game up, and then for you guys to have to kind of pull things together and hold on for dear life to get the win. Now that we've had almost a whole season of these 2-game series, what do you think of them?
They're okay. To me, it's there's never the same turnout. It's always crazy, you know. I know the first time we played, it was a blowout, I think, with Lipscomb, and the second time we went into overtime. And so I know that was a consistent theme throughout the whole series with every team. So I thought that was interesting.
It has been fascinating. I was talking to Ashton yesterday, and you would think that there would be more splits. One team would blow out a team in the first, maybe not blow out,
right,
but that there would be a win in the first game, and then the other team would take the momentum and say, no, I'm not handling, and they would come back and win the second game.
Yeah.
But if you guys have lost the first game, you lost the second game. If you won the first game, you won the second game. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, it was.
And hopefully there's no more COVID, and hopefully there's no more 2-game series, and it'll go back to normal a season from now, but it might not. And this may be here to stay for a little while. Some leagues may look at this and go, it's a money saver, it's a way to, and then maybe they'll do it next year just to even it out. The teams that you play twice on the road, you'll play at home, who knows? So I don't know if this is here to stay or not, but from the fan standpoint, I guess it's nice to have 2 games in a row, but...
Yeah, I would say the good thing about it is that the first time you play them, you have an idea of what they're doing. You can go back and watch film. We have to do like an hour of film. We get to see things that we can work on, make a few adjustments, and then the next day we get to play them. And we already have, we go over personnel, and so we already have them imprinted in our minds. So we don't have to wait a whole 2 weeks to play them again.
We hear this in football a lot as far as teams that they'll save a few plays. They're not going to show everything that they got. There might be a conference championship game. We're going to save a few of these for whether it be a 2-point conversion or whatever. Fourth and 1, what are we going to do? We're going to save a few of our plays for the big games. Is that similar in basketball at all?
Yeah, definitely. I think that I'd be very surprised if coaches didn't do that, because for this time, back-to-back games, I don't think it really matters so much. But, saving some of those plays for further down the season, I think is important, because a lot of teams scout, this is their play, this is how they run it, this is when they like to run it. So I think it's really good to have a few plays in your back pocket.
I think as fans, I think a lot of fans would probably think, every team has 3 or 4 plays, and they run the same 3 or 4 plays every single game all the time. Because if you're just looking at it as an overview, there's a lot of similarities in the motion offense that you're going to see day in and day out. But without giving away any of the Lady Flames' specific secrets, what are some little nuances to that as far as can you run the same play but just have a slightly different end game of that play? I know you guys call out some plays where it sounds like you're ordering dinner.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely have a lot of the same plays with a few adjustments, and I'm pretty sure when we watch film, we see other teams. They have some of the same plays with just slight adjustments. Maybe she'll set a down screen on the wing, or she'll set a down screen for the post. And so those are just some of the things that we got to keep an eye on.
So basically, you guys may run a similar play all season long, but you've got something in your back pocket so that way in that championship game, you run the same play, but then all of a sudden it's an alley-oop and Bella dunks it.
Right, yeah.
That one's in the. Is that one in? Did I give something away I shouldn't have given away? I apologize. I shouldn't have given that away.
Oh, it's okay.
Now that you've played, it seems like you've played forever, and I don't. That's a compliment. Coming in from Little Rock and transferring, having to sit out a year, and now playing 3 years, and with COVID, you could even come back and play another year if you wanted to. By the time you walk off the court, whether that's in a couple of weeks from now or a year from now, you are almost have your master's or doctorate in basketball. Forget about what you're doing in the academic side of things. Do you have any coaching itch?
Actually, I'm planning to go overseas.
Okay, so once that's all done, though, do you ever see yourself with a whistle?
I used to, but then I moved further and further away from the coaching area. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's something that God's pushing me further away from, or something something else He's calling me to do.
The reason I asked that is back before COVID, when they would have the little camps and the little day, I don't know what you guys call them, day camps or sessions where the kids would come in. You always had the biggest smile on your face. It seemed like you were having a ball whenever the kids were here, and I thought, maybe that's a foreshadowing of what might be going on 5 or 10, 20 years from now.
Yeah, anytime I see, kids playing basketball, it makes them happy, it makes them smile. It kind of takes me back to when I was little and I would be playing on the court, like basketball was the best thing ever. When I was on the court, I had so much joy. I mean, I still have joy in it now, but when I was little, there was just so much joy when I was playing.
No pressure.
No
when
pressure
you're a kid.
At all.
You're just going
just
outside?
Fun. Yep, not for the money, not for, fame, the hype. It's just basketball is a game. So when you say game, you think about, okay, you're supposed to have fun. So that's what I try to keep it to.
Where was your go-to place when you were growing up? Where were you playing hoops? Outside, I'm sure?
Yeah, the backyard with my family.
You had a hoop. Well, you had so much competition built into your family.
Yes.
I mean, between your siblings and your parents and I'm sure you guys probably had some knockout bloody battles in your backyard.
Oh yeah.
For those who don't know, tell us a little bit about your family.
They're huge basketball family. They're huge supporters of everyone in our family. We're always behind each other, encouraging each other, and yeah.
Give us a rundown of everybody who played.
Oh, everyone who played? Okay, that's a big list. Okay, so my dad played. He played all the way up to the college level at Western Carolina. And then my sister played in high school, but she didn't want to, she moved into the art area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she likes art. And then my next sister, she didn't play at all, anywhere, not even in high school. But, she was capable of it. I guess she just wanted to do something else. And then the two twins, they went to a junior college. And then the next sister followed in their footsteps and went to the same junior college. So they played a year all together. And one of the twins, wanted to do the nursing. So she stepped away from basketball to do that. And so it was just one of the twins and the next sister. And then my brother, he went to a junior college, not the same one, but it was actually maybe 10 minutes away from the next college. It was the D2 Union that Sarah and Bethany, one of the twins, the next sister, they went to. And so they were all just in this one little town playing all together. So I thought that was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys, have you ever just taken the family to a court somewhere and say, we got next?
No, not really. But we did play a lot of 5-on-5 in our backyard.
That's pretty good. That is a really cool story. A lot of talent in that backyard. And we've been blessed to have you. And I don't want to, this isn't the last game. This isn't the end of the run, but senior night, and what a great way to finish up at home. And a wonderful victory for the Lady Flames, but an outstanding record for you tonight too. And it's been so much fun talking to you over the years. I'm sure we'll talk again, but
for sure.
just in case we don't, I just wanted to say that.
All right, thank you so much, Jamie. I appreciate that.
All right, Emily Lytle, our Thompson Brooks Insurance Player of the Game. She finished up this one with 22 points. Do you know how many three-pointers you hit? I mean, how many you missed? We know that you hit 6. How many did you miss?
2 or 3, I believe.
3. Yeah.
3? Okay.
6 and 9. That's not bad. 67%. You take that any day.
I'll take it.
So Emily finished up with the game-high 22 points for the Lady Flames. And Bridget Rettstadt chipped in with 10 points as well. Liberty is able to get the victory over Stetson and sweep the series. We're going to get Coach Kerry Green in here in just a moment and get his thoughts on today's game and what lies ahead, because there's a big challenge looming next weekend when the Lady Flames travel down to Fort Myers to take on Florida Gulf Coast. Florida Gulf Coast won today, and they're going to be undefeated in conference going into that matchup with Liberty, but the Flames, with only 2 losses, they get the sweep by way of tiebreaker, would be the regular season champions and the number 1 seed going into the tournament. So, Coach, there's a lot left to be played. There's a lot left on the line. I don't want to look into the future before we talk about the past, because I know everybody's curious about your thoughts of this game. But let's jump ahead a weekend real quick, and then we'll circle back. I'll use a political term. We'll circle back and talk about today's game. But now you've got it. Not exactly where you want it. I'm sure you probably, if you had your way, you'd love to have a 3-game lead going into the final series down in Florida Gulf Coast, not have to worry about it. But right now, you hold your own destiny.
Yeah, Jamie, looking at it from a positive perspective, win 2 games, you're a regular season conference champion. That's a big challenge for us, and those are 2 2 games on the road against currently number 1 seed, a very tough, very good Florida Gulf Coast. But mathematically, we have the opportunity, and don't put anything by our girls. I mean, they're tenacious, persistent. Sometimes we don't look like that, but we're very capable, and we have these huge challenges in front of us, but we got an opportunity. There's nobody else in the league can say that. So we're grateful for that opportunity.
When you look at Florida Gulf Coast on film, I know you haven't got to see them in person yet. What is it about them? I think a lot of folks thought they graduated so much from last year. They're going to be in a rebuilding process, and it really hasn't been the case. No,
they have rebuilt. They have rebounded and came in with some very good ball players. Kirsten Bell, probably all likelihood will be named the Conference Player of the Year. She leads the conference in scoring. 6'1" guard that goes inside, outside, and got a great shooting touch. Along with that, they have Morehouse, a lightning quick point guard that goes from coast to coast, sort of Jewett Giles type of player. And she had a weakness at the beginning of the season. She couldn't knock down the outside shot, but now she's knocking that down. So that 1-2 punch is just unbelievable. And they're the way they're conditioned up and their style of play, they just run people in the ground, up and down the floor, and take the ball to the basket. You know, I've watched them and several times already. Just very talented, and those two sort of set the table for the entire team. If you took those two out, then it's a different team, and but you got to deal with those two, and they're outstanding ball players. They're first team All ASUN players, and that's going to be challenges for us. And then playing it on our home court, I mean, they're coming at you with swinging to knock you out in the first quarter, and I think they had over 50. What did they have yesterday? Just at halftime, 52 points, or Might have been 60.
59. I think, it was in that
I think it might have been
neighborhood,
60 points, and that's halftime. I think it was 60 plus because I thought, wow, I mean, at that pace, that's 120 points a game. And that was against a very good North Florida team that we were very unfortunate. They took 2 off of us at their place. So that tells you what kind of team they've got, a very explosive scoring team. And they'll turn you over and play pretty tough defense on you as well and push it up and down the floor. And don't be surprised. I mean, I don't know if it's a coaching strategy. I wouldn't be surprised that everybody talks about them shooting the 3. I think he may just say, hey, first quarter, no 3s. Everybody's drive it to the basket. And I know that happened 2 years ago, first time we played them down there, and my whole team's in foul trouble at first quarter. Ashton Baker's got 2 fouls or 3 fouls by the second half, second quarter. And not only her, we were in serious foul trouble already in the first quarter. So we got to be prepared to keep them in front of us, and that's a difficult challenge. And they're just well coached, and they got a strategy down, and they run it pretty good, or they wouldn't be, what are they, on a 16, 17 game winning streak right now. Lost to Arkansas, and I cannot think who the other team that they've lost to early in the season.
And it was before Bell.
Yeah. Lost to Arkansas in the top 20 team, and that by, I think, under 10 or 12 points, and that was without Bell.
To give the fans a little perspective, I don't think I've ever had this conversation ever before, but Paul Carmy and I were talking before the game, and there's people in the A-Sun that I'm sure are saying, well, maybe she'll come out after a year or two and go to the WNBA. Never had that conversation before.
No. She's an outstanding ball player. She's capable, but I've been in the league, been around long enough. From an offensive perspective, she's pretty good. She's got a lot to learn, to play at the WNBA level, on the defensive end, and you have to play half the time down there too. So I'm not saying she's not capable of it, but I don't think she's fouled out all year this year, and so I think it's a pretty good strategy. Hey, if you average 26 points a game, stay in the game, get your 26, and see if your opponent can outscore you. And I don't think that's happened. She's very talented, but the next level is pretty good now. Okay, it's the best of the best. Does she have some tools to play and make some money? Yes, she does.
This game was, it's hard to even describe unless you watched it, and I watched it and I'm still having a hard time describing it, but there were moments where it seemed like everybody had played 2 games in 2 days. There were a lot of shots that came up short. And then there were moments where it was just beautiful basketball, some well-run sets as far as in the half court for both teams. Megan Vincent for Stetson, they ran some nice plays to get her some looks near the basket. You guys were able to get some post-to-post passes between Bella and Bridget and Maya, and it was like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of game.
Yeah, I can't speak for them, but when we really settled down and read our offense, read their defense, and executed, it was beautiful for team play. And great teams play together. And when we shared the ball, that was not always the case. That's the reason it was a hard-fought, tight game, was because there's times that we would not slow down. I said this earlier on the TV telecast. It seemed like we were rushing to turn the ball over, and I mean, we would turn it over within 7 seconds. Some of our our decision making just wasn't good. And to be a championship team, can't do that. You'd want to be more mature at the end of the season, making good decisions, and we're not. We got a few more games left, but and this was the case today, and today is an emotional day. Good night. It's the last game of the season on our arena floor. We love this venue, and we were undefeated and ended up undefeated. So, wow, I mean, that's in the history book, Jamie. And men's basketball and ourselves, we're in the history book, and we're grateful for the administration and the vision they've had and constructing such a beautiful venue. And so we knew in the back of our mind, we never really talked about it, but I did hear one or two of them say, let's go undefeated. And so it was a goal. And so there was emotions for that. Emotion for, the graduates. And we recognize them graduating. And hopefully they can continue on and get their master's degree, or maybe more than that. So those things. And if we swept Stetson, that for sure put us in a position of being seeded number 2. And in addition to that, if we're going to play for the ASUN regular season championship, we needed to get these 2 games. So a lot of things going on today. And we consistently fought on the defensive end. If we could slow down, be a little more patient on the offensive end, I felt like we would have been able to take control of the game a little bit earlier. But each quarter, we played a little bit better on defense. I think 18 points, 16, 12, 8 in the last quarter, and that's what gave us opportunity. And we continue. You have a always player of the game like Emily today, and we always have deserving 1 or 2 or 3 players of the game. And she certainly deserved today. But our depth has been advantageous for us all year long. And just to be able to have the depth, and if we could just slow down a little bit, as I said, from the offensive and execute, because we could score points. We just sometimes rush things. Now, I say all that. Consistent defensive effort, consistent effort coming from the bench, wearing their legs down, and they shoot a terrible percentage as the game goes on. 18, 16, 12, 8 points a quarter. So give us a little credit for some strategy and playing a lot of good ball players.
Yeah, that depth has been the difference in quite a few of these second games of the back-to-backs as far as the year has gone on. And we saw Stetson, they applied a lot more pressure today, but as the broadcast was going on, I keep thinking, all right, that they're forcing some turnovers, but is it going to hurt them on the offensive end? And we saw a lot of shots that came up short as the game went along. And give full credit to your team not giving up any offensive rebound opportunities. You finish up 44-23 in the rebound. And I know that was something that was probably a little bit of a burr, or what burr in your side. Is that the phrase I'm looking for?
Burr in your saddle, I think.
Saddle, that's it. Yesterday.
Yeah. I think they out-rebounded us by 3 yesterday. So we did what we needed to do in the critical areas that we think it's important to be successful, rebounding and defense. And, if we just be a little more patient on offense, because we can score. We can score.
Thorn in your side. That's what I was looking for.
Thorn in my side, burr on my saddle.
Burr in my saddle. That's right. Sounds like an old country song. Willie Nelson could have sung that.
Yeah.
Coach, congratulations on going undefeated at home and a chance to win the ASUN regular season next weekend. We'll be there in spirit. We'll be there on the broadcast. We'll talk to you through Zoom, but we look forward to following the Lady Flames as they travel for a championship.
And I like to say this at the end of the season here. I'm really thankful and appreciative to our administration, the vision they've had and how they've supported us, and the community too, because, Jamie, there's challenges. Wow, the challenges that we have all gone through, and that extends to our families too, because I alluded to this earlier. It's harder to connect and communicate under these conditions. Not impossible, but we're Zooming and Teamworks and all kinds of things like that. And I'm certainly grateful to the support that our community and our administration has given us, along with making it personal, our own family, and my coaching staff, Coach Katie and Coach Andy Bloodworth and Coach Sherrard and their families as well. And, it's nice to look up in the stands, and I see Katie's got her two little boys sitting over there, and having Solo and his family just giving his very best and investing in, and you probably would say this, the people probably know, sometimes you hear him louder than your own telecast, him screaming across the court, because he's all in. And
we know when there's a mismatch. We know that for sure.
Yeah, and it just continues right on to our managers, and certainly not to forget our trainer, Laura Macuso, and our medical staff here, and the medical doctor was sitting over there today, and just staying involved. And certainly to me, not least, but actually at the top of my list, having my wife, and just encouraging and here, and I was really thrilled, emotionally choked up with my players after the game, and just told them, hey, I was living a dream last 2 days. I got to have a younger brother bring my mother, who's 86 years old, Miss Helen Irene Green, up here, and for us to get a couple wins. And now, once we get signed off, I'm going to run and jump in my truck and run home and hang out with my mommy, my mom, and just that makes it special. Wow. And I'm grateful and to be blessed, and certainly give God for all the praise for it, and the glory for these wins, and praise the Lord. Go Flames.
We'll see you next week.